Welcome, everyone, to the Obtuse Angles podcast with Kyle and Jeremy. Kyle Fields, former indie worker, current stand-up comedian, podcaster, by God, radio broadcaster. Jeremy, bam, bam, boom, boom, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Iron Mike, the professor, the southern dandy, flyboy, the golden child. 10 minutes on either side of putting a ham in the smokehouse stack. Holy Sutherland. Also, a comedian, a podcaster, an IT man to the dangle stars, and today, the fellow usher punching your ticket as you walk into the theater to be seated. Oh, I hope you have your gummy bears and a big old Diet Coke. The show today is a longin', I guess. It's part 2, or maybe the original. I can't tell. I've not named it yet. We're going to go ahead and call it the dumbest stories of 2021. Jeremiah, what's going on?
Man, I'm excited.
My face is red. I have
I'm
no
in relaxation.
Oxygen.
Do what?
I said my face is red. I don't think I breathed one time.
Yeah, you're real bad about that. You're very long-winded.
You motherfucker. Speaking of long-winded, what the fuck have you been doing? You said you were in relaxation mode?
Yeah, dude, I'm in relaxation mode. I'm back to being weekend warrior, man. I've been back at work a few weeks now.
That's right.
I just had my 3rd week, and boy, it is just fucking terrible. I hate it so much.
I've never heard you sound more sad than when you answered, or actually you didn't answer the phone. You called me because we were supposed to record at 5:01 on the dot. You call me fucking angry as shit. And I even asked you, I said, what's wrong with you? And you said, nothing. Nothing's wrong. It was like an episode of Rescue Me. Nothing's wrong. And I'm like, all right. And then, you cut a whole promo on me about how you're done with work and you're tired of this bullshit. Now you're calling yourself a weekend warrior, for Christ's sake. I don't even know what the fuck. You're probably going to buy a goddamn Harley Davidson with the big old man things on the sides of it. I can see it.
That's my point, is that, we record this on a Sunday night usually, and the episodes go up Monday afternoon. So it's Sunday and I'm relaxing because I fucking worked all week. I'm exhausted from working all week, which is a vast change from being exhausted from doing absolutely fucking nothing all week.
That gravy train of unemployment ran out. It ran out on Jeremy. That's sad.
Dried up, yeah.
Now you're back to the depressing grind, because statistically, the most depressing time of the week is not Monday morning. It's Sunday afternoon.
Sunday
right?
evening. Yeah,
right now.
It's called the Sunday night dread.
I didn't even realize that was statistically a thing. My whole life, I thought I was the only one that felt it. I really did. Like, I was just like, oh my God. Like, this is...
Yeah, and it lasts from Sunday at about 3 p.m. until Monday, the moment I sit down at my desk at work. Once I sit down, I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm here, whatever. I might as well just work and just get it over with. I've accepted defeat.
When you sit down at 12:01 to your 9:30 shift.
At the end of Toy Story 3, when they're trying to escape that incinerator and they're running on that conveyor belt, and then they all finally just hold each other's hand and sit there. It's like the darkest fucking shit. I was talking with someone recently about how dark the fucking ending the Toy Story 3 was. It was insane.
It's unbelievably dark.
They're trying to escape death, and Lotso Bear is like pulling the fucking lever down on them, and they're going into the incinerator, and they're fighting tooth and nail and kicking and screaming to get out of there. And then finally they all just become docile and they just accept their fucking fate. And that's the way it is. When I sit down at my desk, there's no use fighting it anymore. Like, I've already lost.
It sounds like you watch Toy Story 3 every night and cry.
Dude, I've seen it one time. Okay. I've seen that movie one fucking time, and that's how good that movie it is. It's stuck with me.
I get it. No, I know what you mean. Like, there are a lot of movies, looking back on it, I've only seen once, but that's all I needed, because I can remember every scene like yesterday. Toy Story 3.
Toy Story 3 and
wonderful movie.
A Serbian film. Two movies that I only ever really needed to see one time.
Two movies that get mentioned together constantly. We're going to have to do an episode on this movie, or at least we're going to have to talk about it, because you keep telling me about this movie, a Serbian film, and I thought it was I thought it was a snuff film, and then I saw it on Netflix a couple of years ago. And then people
There's
have
no
messaged
way
us.
in hell that you saw it on Netflix. Are you sure about that?
I swear I thought it was on Netflix. Maybe I'm wrong. What is it? It's a movie. I mean, just in a nutshell. What, do people get their dick ripped off or something?
It's hard to even say. Like, you don't understand. Like, I can say it. I can tell you. I can give you a plot synopsis, but it's going to bring the whole episode down. Like, people are going to they're going to hit stop and they're going to put their devices away and not listen anymore.
Well, I tell you what, if you've seen it, go ahead and help me out at Funny Man Fields, or better yet, at Obtuse Podcast. That's where you can find us on social media. Message.
If you're going to explain the movie to Kyle, maybe get up in his DMs, maybe slide into his DMs, as the kids would say. Don't tweet or at us on any public forum and give the synopsis of this horrible fucking movie.
I had an old doctor slide up into my DMs about 3 years ago, and I got a whole week off work for it, so that was pretty great. Speaking of people who are getting time off work because they're in prison, what about that as a segue? We're going to be talking some dumb criminals and some stupid stories today. It's a direct sequel to last week's episode. Check it out right now at Obtuse Podcast on social media to follow them links. We ran out of space, unfortunately, last week on Libsyn. That's hopefully not going to happen again, but we did drop the episode like usual on Monday on our YouTube page. So if you weren't able to check it out, now again, we did put it on Spotify and everywhere else. obtuseangles.libsyn.com does stream from. But that YouTube video, if that ever happens again, or maybe you want to see some more YouTube exclusives, follow the YouTube page. We already have over 90 subscribers, which it sounds not like a lot, but we haven't done shit in 3 years, so I enjoy that. Hit us up on there, and also hit us up, like we said, at Obtuse Podcast. You can send us some tasty stories like this one. It's some of the dumbest things that's happened this year. This is sadly one of them. Bad news, Jeremy, for the town of Dildo, Canada. It's very unfortunate. You wouldn't believe it.
Did you say Dildo, Canada?
D-I-L-D-O. Dildo, Canada. They were mentioned, plucked from obscurity, as it were, on the Jimmy Kimmel Show back in 2019. And wouldn't you know it, Dildo started selling a whole bunch of T-shirts, and people literally came from all over the world to Dildo, Canada to to get like their picture taken and shit. But
when I was in school, I used to tell all my friends that I had a girlfriend that lived in Dildo, Canada.
You know what's funny about that is that was your joke, but that really happened to me. I like when I was a kid, I remember I was 11 years old, and I felt like such a loser. I was like, yeah, I got a girlfriend, man. I mean, we made out and stuff, we did a couple things, because you got to keep the story real, right? I couldn't have been like I butt fucked this broad in front of the sake of Genesis. So it was like, oh yeah, I have a girlfriend. Yeah, we made out. We did a little under the pants stuff. She lives in Canada. But this is a real fucking place, Dildo, Canada.
Mine was more realistic. Like, my girlfriend lived 2 counties away.
Ah, shit.
Yeah, you should have done the two. Because the next county is like, okay, your friends are gonna go. You know what? When are we ever gonna see your girlfriend? She only lives a county away. But when you're a kid, 2 counties away might as well be a million miles. Might as well be the surface of the fucking moon.
Well, and again, this is before social media, MySpace, Facebook. Yeah. This is before everyone had a phone in their pocket that could, communicate.
Well, these little fucking kids today have got it much easier, because if they want to have a fake girlfriend 2 counties away, all they got to do is go download a picture set off of Coed Cherry and upload it to their fucking fake Facebook account that they made for their version of, Robert Glass that lives 2 fucking counties away. And, and props to all my homies that got the Brady Bunch reference I just threw in there.
Oh, no, all those people have killed themselves by now. I do like that idea, though. You could create your own social media account for the fake chick, but here's the problem, though, is I don't trust a 9-year-old boy to do that effectively. He's gonna pick like a picture of Scarlett Johansson or some shit. Like, this is my bitch. It's my bitch right here. No, little Timothy, it didn't work. No. Our stories were dumb too, but I love the 2 counties away thing. It was so stupid because I was an Eastern Kentucky kid. Like, half the kids I was talking to had never left the holler, let alone like
they couldn't point out Canada on a fucking map.
No, like, at what point is my holler living cracker ass gonna meet a bitch from from Canada?
Kyle and his parents jump in the family. They leave the trailer in the family station wagon. And they put on Lindsey Buckingham and they take off to Canada.
Oh my God, that's so wholesome. Well, what a good time. Well, anyway, dildo was booming. Yeah, a couple actually, and this is from CBC.ca. It's a story about how they had backgrounds in businesses and they started selling T-shirts that said, quote, "There's a little dildo in everyone." They were making all the money, and then the pandemic hit, and unfortunately, it's hard times.
They did that with Missouri, too, and Amber took it in, hook, line, and sinker. There's a town called, I guess it's pronounced Uranus, in Missouri, and Amber ordered us some fucking fudge, and it said, your fudge has been lovingly packed in Uranus, Missouri.
Here's a headline for you. A Florida man who wasn't on fire is charged with a felony after police say he sprayed himself.
Wait, why is that little piece of information needed? Is that your typical Florida man on fire when he gets arrested?
Well, he wasn't on fire after police say he sprayed himself with a fire extinguisher in an attempt to dry himself.
Okay. I just didn't give you enough time to... Okay, like I thought that was the 2 distinguishing qualifiers when delivering the news in Florida. A Florida man who was not on fire.
Kind of like in Arkansas where they have to say, a man who was not fucking a goat was arrested today.
Right, exactly.
Exactly. You're the worst. You're you literally interrupted in between the setup and the punchline. You're like that drunk bitch at a comedy show. Like... Oh, well, hold on a minute. Why would you say that if he ain't on fire?
Why does he say that? I know somebody who's way worse at me than that.
Oh, God. Oh, God, I'm there.
Did your eye twitch a little bit when I said that?
Oh, God, I'm there. Yeah, I know somebody who, and you know what? And I'm
remember when I was telling you, Tina, you remember when I was telling you about my cousin Tracy? She was way better at that. One time we went to the... I'm sorry, you hang on a second, okay? We bought a ticket to see you. We're paying you tonight, okay? So you listen up. Do you remember I was telling you about my baby cousin Tracy? Well, she went to a comedy show one time, and she was way worse than I am at this.
Jump.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Comedian, Mr. Funny Man with the microphone. Go ahead now.
I can tell that you've encountered a few bachelorette parties. That was so realistic.
I completely derail. Like, I just go right off the rails. I take like if all my jokes were a piece of paper, I'll wad that motherfucker up and I throw it. And the rest of my set, if it's one fucking second or 30 fucking minutes, it's just me calling her a cunt in as many different ways as I can.
Yeah, then you completely lose the crowd. See, that's
who gives a fuck at that point? It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even. I don't even care anymore.
You even lose. You're like everybody else says. You walk the room and you can't even tell. They're trying to grab you and take you off the stage, and you're still cutting a promo on this bitch. And another thing, you goddamn jowl-looking bitch.
Oh, I know, and I've seen you handle it before, and I've seen you on both sides.
Yeah,
of that. I've seen you do it both ways. Like, I've seen you lay into someone. Like, I've seen you go up and just be, you were not having a shitty set. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen. I hate fucking saying it too.
Oh shit!
I don't think I've ever seen you have a shitty set.
Well, I am perfect.
But I think you were in a shitty mood when you went up, and I've seen you let them have it.
Yeah.
And then I've seen you just address it with a little bit of a joke and went right back in seamlessly back into your material.
That's the tightrope. That's the tightrope that you're walking.
Yeah, I don't like it. I think you're a pussy for doing that. I think you You should spend the rest of your set just making jokes about how she's a horrible cunt and she'll die alone. Like
well, you know what? Here's the thing. I've done that, and surprisingly, you'll lose the crowd. I know, it's shocking.
Oh, yeah, but if you're going to do that, you got to be prepared to lose the crowd. That's the difference between us. I don't care about losing the fucking crowd.
Yeah, I love you. I don't care about doing my job, the one thing that they paid me to do. I don't care about making the show continue and not ruining the rest of every
you know what?
set
Somebody should have
after
thrown
me.
her ass out like 30 seconds into the feature set. So why should the headliner have to stand on stage and yell at this colossal twat when her ass should have been escorted out like 2 seconds into the fucking... You know, when the MC goes up and opens up with a tight 5, like her ass should have been thrown out 20 seconds into that.
Well, yeah, and that's if you're in A, a club, and B, a good club. Do you know, like, I love about you. That's the difference in you and me is, like, you're picturing this amazing club, and I'm picturing, like, you know, the back parking lot of a Denny's, you know, where the... Where my career is going to obviously peter out to one day soon, very, very soon. Yeah, no, I picture like it's being heated by a trash can with like a fire coming out of it and a couple hobos around it. And there's some bitch there, and I can't tell. I'm not going to lay into her too much because she might have a knife on her. But that really is the thing. When you're at a show and then somebody, especially if they're down front, that one common mistake a lot of comics make is they get angry, which obviously you get angry. It's human nature, but they lay into them too much. And the worst thing is, especially if it's a bigger or more spread out crowd, especially in the time of the pandemic, the rest of the crowd hasn't even heard this bitch. And I know I'm saying bitch, and it could be a guy, and quite often it is. But I mean, let's be honest. Most of the time, it's a drunk woman. Do you know what I'm saying? It is. So you know, you can start cutting a promo on her, and then everybody else in the crowd's going, "What the fuck? Look at this fucking asshole!" And
well, look, I know, but look, like I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that. Yes, I've done that. I've dedicated the last like 7 to 10 minutes of my set just laying into a person, but I've done that.
I've seen it. I've
way,
seen it. Yeah.
way less than making just a really quick one-liner at her expense, making her look stupid, and then moving on. Like, I've done that. I've handled it correctly more often than I've not handled it correctly. But yeah, there's been times, yeah.
No, and look, we've all been there. We've all been the guy who, look, Bill Hicks, in my opinion, one of the most brilliant comedians of all time. Have you seen the video where he loses his shit?
Oh, yeah.
Where he's, oh my God.
I watch it once a week.
You probably do. I'm going to put audio of it up right now.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you, man. Be my little echo. Thank you. It's my mother. And, you suck. You fucking cunt. Get the fuck out of here right now. Get out. Fuck you.
It's amazing. I can say whatever I want because I'm drunk and I have a cunt. Oh my God. That's you every day. That's you every. I picture you. That's you 3 out of 5 mornings when you're ordering
breakfast.
That's
me shouting into the speaker at McDonald's.
Exactly right.
Yeah, when I'm ordering in the drive-thru.
You and I independently had the same joke, and I'm certain that it's because it's true. That's why we both of our brains went to it at the same time. Anyway, old brother, 54-year-old David Mann was in a parking garage Tuesday night with an extinguisher, and he was covered in powder. Police say Mann told them he had been drinking, fell asleep, and then fell in water when he woke up. He said he was trying to dry himself off. Apparently, again, he thought he was on fire, but it's the damnedest thing. He wasn't. You know what's up. You know, Jeremy, some jobs you can't be a Kyle at. You can't be a Jeremy at. Some jobs you can't cut corners. This is from mynorthwest.com. Former Seattle resident arrested after body parts found scattered in Arizona. You know how that goes.
Wait, he was located like in an entirely different state from the body parts they found?
Well, I think it's.
I mean, did he write his fucking name and address on them, or was there an investigation that led to? Okay, all right.
No. Let's see. According to the Yavapai, that's right. Just like the Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair Yavapai strap match. That's for you, Stephen Platt. Yavapai Sheriff's Office. 59-year-old Walter Mitchell moved to Scottsdale earlier this year. He ran a company called Future Gen X, which managed cadavers for medical research. Whoa, wait a minute. What? So he had a company where he managed cadavers, and he called it Future Gen X. What the fuck? It sounds like a fucking 1993 Sega CD game. Future Gen X.
It sounds like a stable that would like a wrestling stable in the late 90s.
It does. No, it's in Memphis, like in the.
It was like a Degeneration X ripoff kind of.
Yeah, but I picture it was in the dying days of Memphis. You know what I mean? When it was on like one channel, you know what I'm talking about? You ever see those videos of because Memphis, obviously the glory days of wrestling there was in the 80s, and that shit ran to like 01, and you see like 99 fucking Memphis. There's like 3 people in the crowd, and Dave Brown's dead, but no one's told him yet.
Poor Dave
Brown. I'm kidding. He's still alive, thank God. Anyway, according to that Yavapai strap match Sheriff's Office, on December 26, 2020, around 20 human limbs were discovered near Prescott, Arizona. The next day, a hunter found 2 human heads. Oh, good. Oh, good. You know what that was. You know that it was him and his dog is like, he's playing with something. He's like, oh, did you find a ball there, bandit?
I just picture like a Benny Hill, like a.
Yeah, I love the wacky circumstances. So I'm thinking 2 teams of 9-year-old soccer players are kicking one head around on a team, And there's I don't know why, but there's a fancy British guy with a monocle and he's holding his tea. And then a head rolls up next to him and he's like, oh my word. And the tea goes all over the place. Anyway, and then some woman loses her top for some reason. Benny Hill, it really had it all, didn't it? Anyway, deputies arrived and confirmed what he had seen, and a follow-up search revealed 3 more human heads. So we're up to 5 human heads.
Okay, this story is decidedly less interesting that he's. I thought the guy was going to be a serial killer. Is he not a serial killer?
No, investigators were able to link the body parts back to Mitchell. Mitchell now faces 28 counts of moving human remains with the intent to conceal or abandon them. So basically, instead of disposing of these human heads in a reasonable way, he was driving.
So, I had an apartment where I lived there for 3 years, and I one time never paid for trash pickup service there.
Oh God,
no! Because I used to back up my trash from the kitchen, and I'd throw it in the bed of my truck. And at the time, I worked. I was working at a hotel, and I would pull around and just toss the fucking bag. I would just dump shit. I would be going down the road, and I would just throw a bag of trash on us. I think that's what this guy did. He didn't want to have to pay for whatever contract service it is that what's the word? It's not decommissions, but disposes, I guess, of organic life material.
That shows you the difference in you and me, and how I'm lazier than you and you're cheaper than me. Because in my mind, he just didn't give a fuck, and he's like, well, I'll go out to the desert and a coyote will get a hold of it. He'll be chasing a roadrunner or something. But in your mind, it's like he was cutting corners financially. He was some kind of patriot. The government don't have say over my heads.
I pictured him having a pickup truck bed. He just opens the gate, goes about 30 miles per hour, and then backs up and stops, and then throws them empties out the bed of the truck, and then he flips the gate up and takes off. Kind of just dumps them out.
That's good. That just sounds fun.
It's head and dicks and arms and shit laying out in the desert.
Oh, why are the dicks separate? Where's head, dicks, and arms? In your mind, that's the human anatomy in a nutshell. No pun intended. It's head, dicks, and arms. Instead of the ear, nose, and throat specialist, you got to go to the head, dick, and arm specialist.
That was that song we used to sing in kindergarten. Head, shoulders, dicks, and arms, dicks, and arms.
Here's the thing. I don't know if you're joking or not. That legitimately might have been a class in Lawrenceburg. I don't know. What about this, Jeremy? This was a man who was just living the American dream, gunned down in his prime. A man suspected of killing another man inside of a business following a drug-related robbery was arrested last week. Metro said police took Aaron Ingram into custody. Geronte Smith was found dead by a person visiting the store where he worked. It happened on December 13th around 10:30 in the morning. According to the arrest report, the business was a, quote, clothing store, a recording studio, and an illegal marijuana dispensary. Oh my God, what a fucking...
You know when that shady dude tells you who he's got a cousin who can fix that, or I got a cousin who can take care of that, or I got a cousin who got a side hustle. Like, that's that guy. He's got all the things, and they're just all rolled into one. You know what I mean?
A clothing store, a recording studio. This dude was, I mean, bro, seriously, this guy, all the rednecks who would hate this guy really should admire him, because he was working 3 jobs, supporting the community, smoking weed. On the day of the shooting, a customer came to the business to buy marijuana and noticed that there weren't any employees. When they looked around, they found Smith in a back room with an apparent gunshot wound to his head. He was also bleeding from his face, and there was a pool of blood, the report said. Jesus. God, that's a graphic report. Isn't that great? Because usually
this was all fun and shit until we started talking about the pool of blood and circling his
that's
head.
the thing. I'm reading it from 8newsnow.com. It's an ABC affiliate. Normally, when you read this shit, it's like, a customer found the employee dead with it might say with a gunshot wound to the head.
An apparent gunshot wound.
Right. Usually to the head, you don't even see that. But this is to the head, bleeding from his face. And there was a pool of blood. It's like Gordon Soley wrote this thing.
He just runs away with it, with an apparent gunshot wound to the head, where there was lots of blood still pouring out when the ambulance arrived to pronounce him dead. He was soaked in his own piss and shit, because apparently that's what happens. The body just releases when it expires. So the room smells like shit, and the paramedics are slipping and sliding in blood. The Benny Hill theme is playing. It is wacky.
I love their slipping and sliding in the piss and the shit and the blood. Oh, God. Meanwhile, the fucking kids come through kicking the head around, and the British guy has another cup, and he's like, oh, God damn it.
God! And he's like slipping. He's got blood all over his hands, and he's like, whoop, like a bar of soap, like it slides out of his hands. And
oh God, what do we do? We got to be in the 80s British comedy business. That's what we need to fucking do.
Missed my calling.
2 witnesses said they saw Smith dead, so they went back to their home and they called 911. Witnesses said that Smith always had the marijuana on display to sell in the back of the store. However, when officers investigated his death, the marijuana was missing. So he was murdered. They obviously took his drugs. I love the hustle. I love that he always had it on display. So it's not even like it was in a shoebox in the back in a safe. It was legit.
So was this I guess it was illegal. A state where marijuana is legal, right? Like, he wasn't just selling pot out of his fucking studio.
Oh, no, wait, it was. Yeah, it's Las Vegas. Okay, so yeah, Las Vegas. Okay. But again, though, it was illegal, though. It was an illegal studio. Like, it was his house, I guess. His house where he had a recording studio.
That's amazing that in this country you can sell drugs somewhere, and like, still the illegal thing is like, hey, you're not supposed to have a recording. No, all the pot and the mushrooms, that's all. The psychedelics and weed, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you're not allowed to have a recording studio here. It's just not going to work. Yeah.
But the good news is they caught the guy. I'm taking a look at his mugshot, and he does have a money sign tattooed on his face. So good for him.
I don't feel like there's ever... I feel like once you get a face tattoo, your story's not going to end. Like, people with face tattoos don't die quietly in their sleep. At the ripe old age of 89. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're right.
I think once a tattoo needle breaks the skin on your face, you're pretty much adjourning yourself to a shitty, miserable, violent death.
And I'm not trying to be mean here, but if you look at every time, like, you know, a rapper tragically dies, like Juice WRLD, it like, I mean, they're dying younger and younger, like at 15.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like a rapper dies, their face looks like my Uncle Jimmy's arm. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the Uncle Jimmy that did a dime for B&E at KSP. I
had an uncle, and I asked him, I said, where'd you get that tattoo? And he goes, I got this in jail. You know, and you know, normally that's a joke. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, right. So that, but anyway, right. But you know, you're right though. You're right. The whole.
Well, look, I'm not trying to judge anybody for having a face tattoo. I wish I could. I'll be honest with you. I'm covered in tattoos, but they're all below the neck. And the only thing that stops me from getting face tattoos is the fact that I would have to spend the rest of my life, which would be decidedly short because I would fucking kill myself, but I have to listen to my fucking mom just incessantly tell me how disappointed she is that I got tattoos on my face. Yeah.
Now, is that kind of, I love, that's an interesting thing that you just said there, that if it weren't for the judgment, you would actually maybe consider it.
Yes, I would.
Because I gotta tell you, like, as douchey as it is in 2020, I would absolutely have frosted tips in my hair.
Well, one of these things makes us look like a badass, and the other one makes us look like.
No. Well,
did you guys not hear what I said? I said one of us makes us look like a badass,
no, they've heard
and
it.
the other one makes us look like.
That's all right. That's exactly what he said. My point is that I know that society would judge me, but I think it looks cool, which is why I would have it. So what you're saying is that you've seen people with facial tattoos and thought to yourself, that looks like a good idea. I would like to have that on my face every day.
I think it's visually interesting. I think it's visually interesting. I think every time I look at Post Malone, I think there's a guy who's got it figured out. There's a guy who truly.
Yeah, sure. There it is.
Every time I look at Mike Tyson, I think there's a guy right there who is measured.
But you know what? You say that, but Post Malone is so fucking rich and so fucking intelligent and has like a Bud Light fucking endorsement deal. Like he really does have it figured out.
I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. I'm going to say it right here on the show. And I mean this unironically, and I am a huge Post Malone fan. I sit and listen to Post Malone's discography. I actually enjoy him. I enjoy his music, and I think he's fucking brilliant.
You know what? I do too, and I'm a big fan as well. Maybe not as big as you.
It's really hard. It was really hard to come to terms with that because I used to listen to his shit in private, in secret, like with headphones on, turned down real low so no one would know I was listening to it.
Am I getting this right? So you want to get a face tattoo in tribute to Post Malone?
I want to get a portrait of Post Malone over my face so that I look like him.
I love the fact that that's got to be subconsciously what's going on, because I know you, and I don't think that you ever wanted a face tattoo until you saw Post Malone have one.
But I don't have to fight anybody anymore because of my size and stature. But if I had this size and stature with a face tattoo,
I love how you said I don't have to fight anybody anymore. Like you're some ex-underground fighter. Like you were like Rambo at the beginning of Rambo 3, dipping his knuckles in
what I was
broken glass and fucking gravel and shit. Yeah, I don't fight anymore. They brought the war to me.
The blood and the beer.
They drew first blood. Let's try to do something here. I want to hit as many Florida stories as we can very quickly, if that's okay. Here we go. This is from clickorlando.com. Around the same time when many were even afraid to go grocery store shopping for fear of falling ill, some Floridians thought it'd be funny to tamper with everyday food items in the store. In one case, police say a woman went to a Holly Hill Walmart, selected some guavas, oranges, and other edibles, chewed the fruit, and spit the masticated chunks right back into the bins, destroying $350 worth of produce. Records show that her reply was, quote, "I don't know, just cause," unquote. Oh, in the same vein, there was also this woman who was accused of spitting on groceries at a Largo Publix and threatening anyone who tried to make her stop.
Now, wait a minute. Don't they consider that an act of terrorism?
Biological terrorism? You know, I think it should be, man. It honestly should be, because here's the thing.
Well,
if you're going to be the kind of person...
and they're going out like spitting on produce and shit.
I am a very, hippy-dippy guy when it comes to many things. But I know, oh God, I love it. I can sense it in you. But when it comes to somebody spitting or fucking with your food, I'm fucking Kim Jong Un, man. I'm serious. Fuck him.
Oh, dude, I get it. I totally
behead him.
Get it.
Fucking behead him. Honestly, if they find out, I think, this is the one case in the government where it's not even innocent until proven guilty. I think even the suspicion that somebody has spit in specifically my food, they should be shot in front of their friends and family. I mean, that's the one, because realistically, if they proved that you fucked with somebody's food, right? And I'm talking like, spitting in it, jacking off in it, shit, whatever the fuck, right? If they prove it, if we were to kill those people, who would miss them?
Right, you're right.
Because obviously there was no father there. You know what I mean? To set this man on the right goddamn path. There's some goddamn shoeless trailer woman, nodding off right now anyway.
Little bastards raised on soured milk.
Yeah, well, so I think that we agree all these people should get the death penalty. Speaking of Florida women putting their tongues in shit it shouldn't be, one woman went viral earlier this year when she filmed herself licking a toilet seat, quote, on a sugar daddy's plane. In what was dubbed the corona.
There's this boy I went to high school with. I'm not going to say his name because he's a real dude.
You do not have a story for this. You have a story for this?
There's a boy I went to high school with. I'll say his first name. His first name was Robbie, and he got found out. He kept disappearing out of the stands. Well, the teacher just assumed that he was back there smoking. We all fucking hated that kid because he was a weirdo. So the TRP teacher would be like, "Hey, where'd Robbie go?" And he'd be like, "I don't know. He's probably back in the locker room fucking smoking." Just trying to get him in trouble.
Oh, you were dropping the dime? Oh,
yeah, no,
God,
fuck
look
him.
at
This
you.
kid was an asshole. He's a fucking weirdo.
Stooging him off. Like, all right.
So the teacher went back there and caught him, and we didn't see him for like 2 weeks. Well, it turns out they had to go get him a fucking psychiatric evaluation. They had called his parents down to the fucking school. He had to meet with like a psychologist like 3 times before he could come back to school because they caught him in the girls' locker room licking the fucking toilet seats.
Oh,
and
God.
He was taking their bra and panties and shit, like some gym clothes, and was like licking it and shit. He got caught red-handed licking the shit. It was weird.
This sounds like Porky 6 when they really missed the point. You know how like the first Porkies was fun, but by the last one, it's like, all right, enough. I mean, putting come on, you really put your dick through it.
Have you seen Porkies lately? Like you can't call Porkies fun anymore. Like Porkies is just like an hour and a half long rape.
Well, it's all sexual harassment of the highest order. It's a
90-minute sexual assault, yeah.
Speaking of bodily parts that make other disgusting things, quote, the fact that this wasn't a bigger story for a longer period of time tells you just how weird 2020 really was. In January, which seems like a decade ago, Volusia County deputies say a woman grabbed a bucket of human feces that just so happened to be in her trailer and doused her landlord, absolutely drenching the 65-year-old woman and herself in the process. The suspect must have cleaned up before her mugshot because in the body cam video, you can definitely see the aftermath of the feces fight. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God.
I can smell that news article. I can smell it.
My eyes twitching. Like, I'm not kidding. That, like, my brain was like, you cannot process this.
That's your brain saving you. Your brain's like, if I let you understand and grasp this for for what it is at face value, there's a good chance you're either going to vomit or go insane. Like, it's a good biological response.
This one's called Dirty Politics. The suspect wasn't the only person who got a bit dirty this year, since it seems some of Florida's politicians were just as mischievous. Most notable of the bunch is former Seminole County tax collector Joel Greenberg, who politely stepped down from office after being accused of stalking a political opponent, using customers' information to create fake IDs with his picture on them, and accessing state databases to recruit and solicit an underage girl for sex. God damn! Brother was playing with a full hand.
Yeah, he
Lord
was.
have...
That motherfucker had some irons in the fire, didn't he? It seems
He
like
did,
if you're
yeah.
doing one thing that's going to send you to prison for life without the chance of parole, you would kind of put all other things aside and sort of focus on that. But that man had a lot of spinning plates. He had a lot of plates in the air.
He's pleaded not guilty, but we'll find out when the actual verdict is in, when the trial stands in March. Now that he's out of office, an audit found that he had misspent millions of dollars. No, not this guy. No.
Can't believe that.
In taxpayer money on things like body armor and sprinklers to spray petitioners. God, he was evil. Jesus.
I liked him. You know, it's never the politicians you want to take the Bud Dwyer way out that actually take it.
Oh, man, wouldn't it be? I don't want to say wouldn't it be great, because we'll get in trouble. But if I couldn't get in trouble, I'd definitely say that.
just nothing but diplomacy and professionalism from Kyle all the time.
This one's not your usual Peter Cottontail. Easter came early in Flagler County when residents found tiny plastic eggs stuffed in their mailboxes. What might be a nice surprise, well, they were shocked when they realized the eggs actually contained pornography, a fish-shaped cracker, a sheet of toilet paper, and powdered drink mix. Deputies said they eventually determined about 400 eggs were placed in all, and the woman April Sestoni was responsible for the unusual crime. Body camera video shows she tried to use religion to justify her actions, claiming that she was a church and she had been conducting research on the local clergy. well, this is... I'm surprised. I'm studying that mugshot because I can't believe I didn't date this woman at some point. It seems very likely.
I can see that. I think you guys would be happy together, playing hot dog and you jacking off with her hand. You guys could have built a happy little life for yourselves. It would have been
playing hot. I love I introduced that term to you 2 weeks ago, and you're just dropping it in casual conversation like you've been saying it your whole life. Have you asked your old lady, as they say, by the way? Have you asked her about
have I asked her if I can hot dog her? No, Kyle. Absolutely. I don't need to hot dog her because I have intercourse with her. Real, actual, full intercourse where the whole entire penis goes in.
It's different. It's not the same.
No, it isn't. It is not the same. You are absolutely right about that.
Fast food restaurants were about as safe as grocery stores this year. Just ask Mesquire Marie McLaughlin, who reportedly went to a McDonald's at about 3:45 a.m. on New Year's Day and demanded a sauce of each flavor to go with her meal. I love it. That's great. Only to be told that she'd need to fork over some spare change to pay for the condiments. Deputies said the sauce surcharge sent McLaughlin over the edge, and she threatened to rob the McDonald's and said she would get the sauce, quote, by whatever means necessary.
I get it. I get it.
You see, I love it. She's the Malcolm X of McDonald's sauces. By any means necessary.
I feel like she's preaching right directly to me. No, have you ever put a McDonald's chicken nugget dry with no sauce on it into your mouth and tell me that that's not just like wadding up a piece of paper and throwing it in your mouth and trying to eat it?
Bro, I had a feud going with the McDonald's on South Limestone. I'll call them out. I don't have a job that can get pissed at me right now. I'll never forget. I tell you what, there were a couple times after they fucked my shit up when I was 19 where I felt like John McClane on Christmas morning. I was like, I was getting ready to take some motherfuckers down. No, I get it, but, you know, it might be a little much. What about this? Over at Checkers in Largo, police said a 49-year-old man screamed at employees and beat on the glass window of the drive-thru just because someone forgot to put lettuce on his sandwich. No one's been that mad about lettuce. Who gets that mad about?
Yeah, I feel like that's what happened, but the newspaper sort of got it wrong. Like, I think he probably ordered 2 cheeseburgers.
There's something in media called bias. You know, I went to school for a couple years. I learned that apparently.
All right, Randy, tell us about the bias of the liberal media.
I am literally holding a Miller Lite as I'm in one hand as I'm talking right now.
I already know. I
think that you just exhibited some bias right there, because this is the one story so far where when I talked about the guy who got arrested at the Checkers, you were like, now hold on, I think the news might have had everything wrong about that. Lettuce, that don't sound right to me.
Listen, man, again, just like with the condiment lady, I get it. I would take someone's life over it probably.
Like, I'm all high and mighty. You see me get angry before, but I don't get as angry at the Checkers and the Wendy's as you do. I got mad at that Walmart.
God,
we talked about it before.
Fucking mad at that Walmart. You literally took your handful of groceries and threw it like on the floor in the middle of Walmart and started swearing loudly as you made your way toward the door, just because there was a long line and you didn't feel like waiting in it.
No, I didn't feel like waiting, but I would have waited if there would have been at least 2 employees at the cash register. There was one at a goddamn Walmart.
It was 11:30 at night.
At a Walmart, you're gonna have one at a get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here.
That's the maddest. And we've known each other, man, and I've seen you get mad over some very, very like just little things. But that is hands down the funniest time I've ever seen. Like it was hilarious. It was fucking hilarious.
Well, this one might not be as funny for some people. If there's one thing that we've learned this year, and this is coming from again from the article in Click Orlando, you definitely want to get your medical advice from actual doctors, not politicians, not your neighbors, and definitely not from Facebook. Federal officials in July said they arrested a man and his 2 sons who were selling glorified bleach and marketing it as a cure for COVID-19, cancer, autism, multiple sclerosis, AIDS, and pretty much every other ailment under the sun. The mineral miracle solution, as it was called, was actually toxic on top of not being able to cure any modern illnesses, according to authorities. Just as ridiculous, an Okeechobee County commissioner was forced to issue an apology for telling his constituents that they could rid themselves of the coronavirus simply by blowing a hairdryer up their nose. He said, quote, the virus just falls apart and disintegrates from the heat. God
well,
damn.
Everybody knows that. Listen, I think if you're stupid enough to believe that drinking bleach will cure your coronavirus, then I think you should definitely drink some bleach to cure your coronavirus.
I mean, I can't legally say I agree with you.
All right, thanks.
It's not that Disney did anything wrong, but the blame here lies on guests like Richard McGuire, a man accused of camping on Walt Disney World's Discovery Island during the theme park's coronavirus closure. Amen, brother. Discovery Island has been defunct since 1999, and according to body camera video, the overgrown greenery made the manhunt even more difficult. When the suspect was taken into custody, McGuire told deputies that the island was a tropical paradise, and he planned to hang out there for a week to film YouTube videos, records show. He's since accepted a plea deal and he's been banned from Disney. That's so sad.
I just pictured him running away from the cops yelling, "It's a prank, bro! It's a prank! Come on, it's a prank, bro!"
As far as Disney-related arrests go, there was also a woman accused of blaming her 6-year-old child for hiding a gun on the property. Always fade the heat to the kid. That's smart. That's why you need a kid right there. Ah, shit, it was my kid that shot that man in the back of the head, my 6-year-old.
Yeah, they got their whole lives ahead of them. What's 25 years in prison? You know what I mean? That's nothing.
Yeah, they get out there 31. They can still play in the NBA. Shit, get the fuck out of here. And yeah, I mean, honestly, my kid, it'd be selfish for me to go to jail for 20 years and then, have the best years of my life eradicated. Fuck that kid. Honestly. We're going to be having to wrap it up here, but I want to, maybe have a little bit of a nicer story that we can go out on. Have you ever seen a kid with the kite, and they're running along and stuff like that? You think, it's adorable. I wonder if the kite would ever take off and take the kid with them. That's kind of what I hope for. Well, apparently it happened. A 3-year-old girl got tangled up in the tail of a giant kite during a kite festival in Taiwan. She got yanked into the air, but thankfully she survived a 30-meter flight with only a few scratches. How is that possible? That sounds like something from a cartoon. How the fuck are...
It sounds like one of those stories, like neighborhood lore. Did you hear about that girl? She was flying a kite one day, and she actually got picked up and taken away by the kite.
No way, man. That's like Looney Tunes physics.
Also, if you guys come to my house after school, I'll show you that if you knock down King Hippo, he gets back up. I can make him get back up.
I hate that kid. Oh, I hate that fucking kid.
Did you know that I could jump over the flagpole in Mario?
God, and I believed it.
You couldn't jump over the flagpole in the original.
I had a friend tell me one time that there was 2 ways of beating Mario 3. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, well, you could beat it the regular way, or you could go up to the clouds and beat it. And I was like, oh, you mean with the beanstalk? He goes, no, you can do it in the first level.
That son of a bitch, that blind piece of shit. Did you?
I wrote a letter to Nintendo. I wrote a letter to Nintendo. And I was like, hey, how do you beat the game with the clouds in the first level? And they were like, that's not real.
And did you write in the letter also, Nintendo, my friend Jeremy says that some piece of shit little asshole that he goes to school with said that there's actually 3 warp whistles in World 1. That's not true, is it? Thanks, Captain Controller.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, the little motherfucker. The King Hippo kid.
I gotta find it.
He said there's also 3 warp whistles in World 1.
You couldn't Google shit back then. That's the thing.
I know.
You couldn't Google shit. There was, now you go, is there? And then but no, back then you would spend all goddamn day playing the first fucking level of Mario trying to figure out where the fucking warp was. Because it has to be there. There's no way that this child would lie to me. Yeah. He's my friend. All right, I'm going to wrap it up with this. I wish I was this guy. A man was seen in Manchester with a snake wrapped around his mouth and neck. That was apparently his own way of following the government's advice of wearing a face covering protecting COVID. According to Sky News, a passenger saw the man with the snake wrapped around his face as a mask, thinking it was, quote, funky, to soon realize the snake was actually alive. The passenger told reporters that, quote, no one batted an eyelid, and we weren't surprised. Where the fuck do you live if that's not weird? There's a goddamn... Really? Oh, it's just fashion. Were they interviewing Bruno? Oh, it's fashion. It's not weird. I love it. I hate this guy. I somehow hate this guy more than I hate your friend kid and his bullshit lies about King Hippo.
Oh.
The guy who I love how this had to be a man with a mental illness wearing a goddamn actual snake as a mask. I'm sure he had just gotten done, fucking eating the innards of a dead possum 10 feet away.
It's called fashion. Look it up.
Yeah, then Bruno sees this motherfucker with a literal live snake on his face and goes, this fashion. Fuck you. And that's going to do it for us this week, everybody. Make sure you go back. And again, one of my favorite episodes ever is, both of my 2 favorite episodes are last year's Weirdest Stories of 2019. Go check that out. Go check out all of the other hashtag Evergreen Man episodes of this shizzo. I'm talking about true crime, stupid news just like this, serial killers. We talk about videos, comedy, everything in between, pro wrestling. At obtuseangles.libsyn.com. Hit that subscribe button. Please give us a 5-star review. We are delivered brand spanking new each and every single Monday to your digital doorstep. 99% of the time, it's on that Libsyn feed, but if it ain't, It's on that YouTube, man. Again, please hit subscribe there. I got a lot of videos that I'm going to be dropping, and that's because we couldn't figure out the goddamn password, but we did, and and now it's going on there. I'm at Funny Man Fields. I do commercials that you can check out. Subscribe to Kyle Fields Commercials on YouTube. Also hit up Sutherland JB. He's got that art you can check out on the Instagrams. That's where we're also at on Twitter. Until next Monday, Jeremiah, what do you say you tell him? Goodbye.
Goodbye.